The year was 2012. It was a nice day outside. Birds were singing, flowers were blooming. A perfect day in a small town in the state of Georgia. The boy was only 5 years old. He was wearing a brown jacket, jeans, and boots. His mother had dressed him up to go visit family out of state. He was playing outside. His mother was inside their house getting ready. His sister was on the way home from school riding the bus. The boy's stepfather was at work, but he won't be important for this story. His three dogs, however, will be. The boy was goofing around without a care in the world. He was playing in the sand, getting himself dirty, even though his mother had told him not to. While he dug around in the sand, he found something, a single-used shotgun shell. The boy decided to fill the shell with sand. He went around pouring sand on different things. He poured it on leaves, bugs, and anything else he thought might be interesting. Eventually, he found one of his stepfather's dogs sleeping in a bush beside their house. He climbed up the stairs and held onto the rail with one hand while he leaned over the roof, holding the shell in the other. Out of curiosity, or maybe some other reason, he poured the sand on the sleeping dog. Of course, the dog wakes up and begins to growl, clearly upset. The boy, now worried, doesn't think. He immediately runs. He runs down the stairs into the yard as he hears the dogs now barking at him. He hears the two other dogs join in as they chase him. About 40 feet from the stairs where he was, there was a trampoline. He knew that if he get up there, he'd get away and call for help. He sprinted full force to the trampoline. As he got closer, he realized he wouldn't be able to make the jump onto the trampoline from where he was. With quick thinking, he turned and decided to try and lose the dog by running around a tree before attempting the jump again. He didn't even make it halfway around the tree before they caught him. The dogs tackled him, and they began to bite at him. They tore out chunks of his flesh, scattered them across the yard. They tore out pieces of his leg and his back. He tried to pick them off. He couldn't even scream for help. All he could muster was a quiet beg for the dogs to stop. Of course, they kept going, biting and tearing. At this point, it was all just a blur to him. All he felt was pain. He was constantly trying to get away. Dogs kept him in a place. The boy didn't even know what to do at this point. He didn't even know what to think. He was so young that the concept of dying was foreign to him. He didn't know what would happen to him. By some miracle, the boy's sister arrived home on the bus. She was only 11. She couldn't see exactly what was happening. All she could see was her brother on the ground and the dogs around him. She didn't have the full picture. However, since he was partially concealed by the tree, she thought he was just playing with the dogs. She called out to him as she walked down the driveway. When he didn't respond, she called out again. As she got closer, she finally understood what was happening. She dropped her bags and sprinted towards him. As she sprinted over, one dog got spooked by her and ran away, but the other two kept going. She grabbed one of them by the ears, one in each hand, and pulled them apart, forcing it to stop. As it ran away, she spotted a baseball bat nearby, picked it up, and began furiously swinging at the last dog, hitting it repeatedly in the back, all the while screaming for their mom for help. Their mom came rushing out. She was absolutely horrified into what she was seeing. The last dog finally ran away, and the boy was lying on his back, bleeding out. The mother picked him up and put him in the back seat of her car. The sister was sitting in the passenger seat as she sped away to the hospital. While she drove down the highway at incredible speed, the boy's sister called 911 and had the hospital prepare for their arrival. As the mother drove at speeds above 100 miles per hour, they sped past a police officer. The officer, however, did nothing. They didn't turn on their lights or chase them. No one ever found out why they didn't react, but the mother kept driving. The boy was fully awake for everything he knew. He was lying in the back seat, bleeding profusely from his legs and back, somehow not passing out from the blood loss. The mother ran red lights, sped past other cars, and eventually they made it to the hospital. The doctors were already prepared, waiting outside for them, and they rushed the boy inside, who had now passed out. The mother was crying furiously, and the sister was still in shock, both of them covered in the boy's blood. The doctors operated on the boy. Hours passed, and the boy's mother and sister weren't sure if he would survive. By some miracle, he made it. He was able to pull through with a total of 66 stitches all over his body. He made a full recovery and was able to walk again only a few days later. He had scars all over his legs and back, and now, where the scars were, they were permanently numb. He couldn't feel anything where they were. And by some other miracle, he never gained a fear of dogs. Whether he was just that naive or too stubborn to be afraid of them is still a mystery. That boy is now 18 and he is in college. That boy was me.